Welcome back to Blacks in Motion. Now, the next thing I want to talk about are NBA coaching vacancies. Now, sometimes the NBA can be a very weird organization. You know, you get bad calls on the floor, you see certain types of suspensions that are weird, but the latest thing has been the firing of successful coaches. They even like to get technical and say, we're not offering them another contract. If you ask me, in the coaching world, that's called getting fired. And I'm going to start off by talking about Vinny Del Negro with the LA Clippers. Now, that was his second job. His first head coaching job was with the Chicago Bulls, which he didn't do too bad, but that was his first stab at it. He had to move on. So when he got over there to the Clippers, what did he do? He led them to their first Pacific Division championship. And that's hard to do for the Clippers. One, the team is not a winning franchise and doesn't have a good history. And also, they're always going to be in the division with the LA Lakers. And that's who you always expect to win that division. But what also did he do? He led them to a franchise record 56 wins. Now look. Yes, they lost in the playoffs to the Memphis Grizzlies, and we'll get to them in just a second. But you have to reward that man with another contract at least to see if the chemistry's well. They said that he didn't have a good relationship with point guard Chris Paul, who he came out and said, don't blame me for getting him fired, but what other reason would there be? So hey, look, I think they pulled the plug on Vinny Del Negro too early. Maybe they didn't. So the Memphis Grizzlies now with Coach Lionel Hollins. Again, another franchise-marking wins with 56 wins for the Memphis Grizzlies. The most successful season they've ever had. And then he led them to the Western Conference Finals. I mean, that's literally one step from the finals, and that would have been a benchmark for their team to ride for many years. But I guess their expectations were set a little bit too high because right after they lost to the Spurs, mind you, they got swept. They just told Lionel Hollins, hey man, we really like what you did, but we don't think we want you back next year. Which is just so weird because as soon as his name hit the circuit, his name popped up in all of the vacancies that came up with different teams. I don't understand it. It's just as perplexing as the Vinny Del Negro move. Now the last one should just straight make you fall out. It just makes no sense whatsoever. You may ask, we're talking about coaches. Well, who was the coach of the year? George Karl for the Denver Nuggets. Now let's talk about his legacy first. He coached the Seattle Sonics team that made it to the finals. And he's been on a host of many other teams, and he's always turned them into a winning franchise. He almost has a 60% winning percentage for his career. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer already right now. And what did he do? He led the Denver Nuggets to a 57-game win season, another franchise record. And how did he get rewarded? He got fired. Yes, they lost in the first round to the Golden State Warriors. But that's the Golden State Warriors that we thinking of the past. You think that, oh, they're a sorry team, they're no good. Those guys were good, led behind Steph Curry and that three-point shooting, him and Klay Thompson. But the Denver Nuggets, again, must have had their expectations set too high. They have not one bona fide superstar on the team. But hey, George Karl, he won't be out of work for long. That guy deserves a job. His legacy is too strong, and his recent success with the Nuggets is too strong. But hey, that's just some of the crazy things that goes on in the NBA. Maybe you agree that those three coaches are good. Maybe you don't. Either way, hit me up in my email, cliff@blackvideonews.com, right here for Black Video News at 8. Until next time, stay logged on and stay on the lookout for Blacks in Motion.